Hey everyone, I'm back here again with another video for y'all with another reading. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm Donnescha. Hopefully you stick around if you end up liking the video and reading. It'll be really wonderful to have you here. Welcome back if you've been around. You know it's always good to have y'all back. I hope everybody is doing great as I always do. I hope y'all healthy. I hope everything is going all right in your life. If not, hopefully things will improve. Just keep moving forward, okay? Keep pushing forward. Keep going. So as I said, I'm back here with another video for y'all with another reading, and this one is requested. This one is gonna be are you your future spouse's usual type? This was requested by Wista. I want to shout her out. She's a cool chick. She's a cool woman and very supportive. And yeah, so shout out to Wista. You know I got to shout you out. I appreciate you and your support. Okay. So let's get into the group selection. Okay. So you have 3 groups here, and I have these little words here. I have these things for a long time. If you've been around, you done seen these on here before. But group 1 is going to be represented by Forever Cool. Group 2 is going to be represented by Sweet. Okay. That's a little donut right there. Group 2 is going to be represented by Shine Bright. Okay. So once again, group 1, Forever Cool. Group 2, Sweet. And group, I don't know why I said sweet twice. Maybe that's a sign or something. And group 3 is Shine Bright. Okay. Keep in mind, this will be a general reading, so not everything will connect with everybody out there. Not everything will resonate. So take whatever feels right for you and leave them other messages to other people. You do not have to accept none of these messages. You can't reject them. I do advise you to just pick one group for this type of reading, but you can pick more than one. But if you can just try to narrow it down to just one or go with the one that most resonates with you. If you do pick more than one, like, try to stick to that one, okay? Because it just makes sense for one group that's reading. But, do it however you want to. Sometimes groups do connect, even for these types of reading. Now, with that being said, if I did not mention, you don't have to accept none of these messages. You can't reject them. And with that being said, let's begin with group 1. So welcome to everyone who selected group 1. You guys pick Forever Cool. So we're going to figure out, are you your future spouse's usual type? Okay. So I'm going to put that right here. All right. And first we're going to figure out, like, who you are. And if you resonate with this, then you know this is your group. Okay, what your energy looks like what type of person you are. And then we'll figure out, if you are your future spouse's usual type. Okay. So you have the damsel, and it's upright. Light attributes. Understanding the nature of healthy romance inspire you to rely on yourself and guide. Light attribute represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. Okay. So you seem to have this energy where you are super independent. You're like a guide yourself. It's interesting because we have mentor at the bottom of the deck. It says light attribute, passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. So it's like you have this guide energy. You seem to have the energy of being in control of your own life. You don't need nobody to save you. You have this independence. You know where you're headed. You know where you're going. And you have this connection to the divine. So I would say you are someone who's very spiritually aware and spiritually connected. And you know you have the divine within you. You know the light is within you. You know the universe, the creator is within you. And so that's how you lead your life. And you seem to be someone who's a guide to others. Like, you're full of wisdom. People want to hear what you have to say. And again, you understand, you know, the importance of being able to rely on yourself. You know, you've never actually been, you know, maybe for some of you, maybe you've been codependent on people in the past. And so you learn from that, or you've been to where you had to rely on other people, and you've grown from that. Now you like rely on yourself. You're a guy, you rely on yourself. And it's like other people rely on you. So you have that type of energy. If we take a look at, you know, when someone speaks about a damsel, which is interesting because I remember in that last reading I did for how are you different from your future spouses, like ex-partner or exes, one of the groups had damsel. Like, you're not the damsel, you're not someone who needs to be rescued, but you are a princess, or you are a prince. It depends on what you resonate with. But it's like you're this independent princess, right? I'm hearing that song from, I know that's not originally the Cheetah Girls song, because come to find out that was for some other group, but that's the Cinderella song from the first Cheetah Girls. Like, I don't want to be like Cinderella, sitting in a dark old dusty cellar, waiting for somebody to come and rescue. Like, you don't wait for nobody to come and rescue you. You don't rescue yourself. You are the guide. It's like people come to you for rescuing, right? It says always beautiful, vulnerable, and in need of rescue, specifically by night. And so because you have the light attributes, you know, it's like the night that comes to you will be a night with pure intentions. If you understand what I'm saying, that can be, you know, your future spouse, you know, or, you know, future partner must become empowered to learn to take care of herself or himself. It depends on who's watching. Princess associated with romance and not distress. Okay, so yeah, you take care of yourself. You keep yourself up, you know. And then you have guide here, which I will take a look at as well. It's like the guru, the sage, the crone, the wise woman, the spiritual master, evangelist, preacher. It's like that's what's under guide. Teacher of religious beliefs, practices, as well as a spiritual principle of seeing the divine in every aspect of your life. So again, that divine is within you. So you're like the wise woman or the wise man. You're like this spiritual master. And you don't have to do any of these things for, you know, a living or nothing like that. You don't have to be like some type of guru. But you do have that energy. You are aware of the divine. You have that connection to the divine and things of that nature. A teacher of religious beliefs. Again, you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to teach these things. But if you do, then that's just double confirmation for you. You don't have to be a professional preacher or guru to have this archetype, which is what I was saying. It's like the crone, you know, you have the crone, the wise woman, the sage represent the ripening of insight and acceptance of what is. So you have accepted what is. And, you're aware of Christ consciousness and things of that nature. So this is your energy that's coming through here, right? That's cool. You also seem to be someone who is, you know, you're loving, and you seem to be someone who is quite a family person. You're very close to your family. It can just be your immediate family or, you know, whomever you're close to. But it seems like you're close to your family, you know. You're that type of person. 6 of Swords coming through here. The Queen of Pentacles. You seem to be a family person too. As well, you know, she's very divine. She's like the damsel upright, okay? Some of you can be Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You don't have to be. but you're just connected to yourself. You're quite grounded as well as having that spiritual connection. And it's like you can move on from the past as well. You don't hold on to the past. Yeah, you've been through many transformations, and you're able to put the depth. I'm hearing depth to the ego, like you had your ego depth. Some of you can be Scorpio, Cancers, or Pisces as well, but I see Scorpio coming through here. Depth. It's very, and you seem to be someone who's very, very much. You like wearing black or mysterious, or you have like really dark brown hair or black hair, or like you wear a lot of like darker makeup and stuff like that. For some of you, doesn't have to be. The Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, I see you're someone who's, more of a person. It seems like you love children and family. Some of you can be mothers or fathers. You don't have to be though, but it's like family is a value to you as well, because it's like all love. We're all one. You seem to be a very loving person, and the Queen of Pentacles takes really good care of herself, which that's what the damsel does. I feel like in the past, some of you, maybe you were the damsel, reversed, or you were, the guy reversed in a way to where you wasn't quite connected to the divine. Like you had like a strained relationship with the divine, and you didn't realize you had that guy within you, right? And so you had that transformation, and now you're these energies upright, right? So that's what your energy is looking like here. Let's see, what is their usual type? And this is going to confirm, are you their usual type? We have the Lover and the Slave. I feel like you are their usual type, because some of these cards have, and then you have the Rescuer at the bottom of the deck, which I feel like you are, because again, remember when I mentioned love, you had the Queen of Pentacles, you had the Ten of Cups, and we're all one, we're all love, you're full of love and stuff like that, because we have Lover here. Life attributes: great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. And I feel like you do have Lover energy. And yeah, the Slave, like attributes: surrendering the power of choice to the divine with complete trust. So again, going back to, you had the Guide card, right? About, having the divine within you, having that connection to the divine, right? And you just full of love. And I do feel like you are their usual type. That's their type, that type of person, right? Yeah, Three of Wands represents these are the type of people this is the type of energy, I wouldn't say people, this is the type of energy they look for in a partner, because they may have this energy as well, right? Now, if you look at the Lover, some of you were like, oh, that's different. No, it has like the same energy, because I'm reading intuitively, so it's giving me that same energy. May manifest in anyone who exhibits great passion and devotion to another. You have that great passion and devotion to the divine and to your family. You're devoted to family and love and to taking care of yourself, but also to art, music, gardening, nature, or needlepoint. Maybe that's some of y'all interests. Like maybe some of y'all are into art and music or gardening. That's just confirmation. It includes unbridled affection for appreciation of someone or something that influenced the organization of your life and environment, appreciation of the divine, appreciation and devotion to the divine, and family and love, and to helping others, right? And to guiding others. And then you have Slave coming through here, the Puppet. Surrenders to the divine, a higher power, trusted spiritual master. Yeah, to become, or a trusted spiritual master to become truly free. And yeah, that's you got guide energy, and which is interesting, because you have the guide and then you have the slave, and then but the slave is upright. Remember I said, maybe you could have been like a slave in the past, a follower in the past, or just like codependent in the past, to whomever. But if you get what I'm saying, right? But then, you know, you had that rescue energy when, yeah, light attributes provide strength and support to others in a crisis, acts out of love with no expectation of reward. Remember I mentioned that, you know, like with being that guide energy. Like you support others, you guide others, you help others. Yeah, this is what they look for in a partner. These are like some of the attributes or some things they look for in a partner. So yeah, that's their usual type. You have the devil coming through here, the King of Cups, and the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, you're definitely are their usual type, because the devil represents you having like a past where maybe you were a slave, or maybe you were, you know, the guide in reverse, and things like that, or maybe you were the damsel in reverse, to where, you know, you relied on others, or you were codependent, or, you know, you didn't trust in spirit, you just fell into dark energies, and then you had that transformation. Remember we saw death earlier. And so now, you know, you have that complete control over all your emotions or whatever. You're emotionally mature now. Yeah, they want somebody who's emotionally mature. They want somebody who can lead their own life, who doesn't have to rely on them, who they will be at bat, like it will be equal give and take. They're not just constantly giving to, you know, another person. Excuse that if y'all see that book right there. You know, I was reading out of it. And also someone, you know, the usual type is someone who won't judge them for their, you know, beliefs or whatever. And I feel like you two share similar beliefs as well. Someone they can love and completely trust. So I would say that's their usual type. Now, you know, for some of you, they dated like opposite of their usual type, was supposed to be their usual type. Some of y'all like, God, what are you talking about? But I'm getting like this message, which is kind of confusing. Like their ex was nothing like this. But you are their type. This is their type. It's like they could never find somebody who, it's like you are their exact type. So, which is giving me the energy of you two are made for each other. So, yeah, you are your future spouse's usual type. And it's beyond just like the physical. But you can see here the devil could represent like being that physical. Like you will be their physical type as well. You are their usual physical type. But also like, but except for, you know, maybe you look like what they would physically date, but your inside, like with the King of Cups, your personality and your beliefs and all that is different, which is their usual type. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of giving me like the mixed energy. I know it kind of contradicts what I said before, but it's like you are their usual type. Like you have both of those attributes, when before like they had the physical usual type, but then the personality didn't like match the person. So like you like the whole package, if you understand what I'm saying here. So yeah, I do believe you are your future spouse's usual type. So thank you guys for watching. That's all I have for everyone who selected group 1. Don't forget to thumbs this video if you did like the reading. It does help. That would be very much appreciated. If you would like a private reading, my email is in the description. You can send me a message there and let me know what you want. And until next time, beautiful people, if this group didn't resonate, you can pick another one. Bye-bye. Have a good one, okay? And again, thumbs the video up, okay? Bye-bye. So, welcome to everyone who selected group 2. This will be y'all reading, okay? We're going to find out, are you your future spouse's usual type? You guys pick sweet with a donut, okay? I'm going to put that there. First, we're going to figure out who you are first, and then, you know, this will confirm, is this your reading? And just like the type of person you are, then we're going to see if that, you know, when we get into their usual type, if it matches that energy. You know, we'll know, okay, yeah, you are the usual type. If not, then, you know, we'll see, okay? So let's see who you are. This will definitely confirm if, you know, what type of person you are and stuff. Confirm this you're reading. You have trickster, you have the rebel, okay? You have the virgin at the bottom of the deck. I'll get to that a little later. So you have trickster and rebel. Okay, it says light attributes, transcending conventions, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. I'm going to read this intuitively mostly. And then we have rebel, light attributes, challenges authority to effect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. Okay, so you seem to be somebody who is, you're very different. Like, you do your own thing. I feel like maybe you're somebody who dresses different, or maybe people think you dress odd, or maybe you just dress really colorful and stuff like that, no matter, you know, the environment. I feel like you bring light wherever you go. Or it's just like, maybe you're just not like different in a way where you look physically different. Maybe you just different. You've rebelled from just the norm of, you know, wherever you from, or from your culture, or from, you know, the religion or whatever you grew up in. But it does tell us here that you do have a bit of rebel energy. You seem to be someone like a trickster. You're someone who you have and also since like you also have like, not only do you have a sense of humor, like your sense of like, you're very funny, like just, it's just like this natural thing. You have people who try to be funny, but then you have people who just, you don't even try to be funny, you're just naturally funny. And people may tell you that. A lot of people just, I mean, it's just something about you, you know, and you're just really fun. Your energy is like really fun, and you just, again, you're just naturally funny. And I feel like that's also what makes you different, right? It's just something about you just natural. I don't know. It's just, you just naturally funny. It says here with trickster, it says jokes or tricks makes fun or is made fun of. And maybe you used to be made fun of, or like people made fun of you because you are so different. I don't know, it's just like, and maybe in your past, and then you embrace it now. People like have something to say. Maybe it can be just the way that you look, or the way that you dress, or just some of your beliefs. It can be, maybe random people don't make fun of you. Maybe it's people who, you know, related to you have made fun of you. I think you're an idiot because of how you rebelled, or just that you have like these different beliefs and stuff like that. It says here, can be either a deceiver who tricks others out of something they're entitled to, or a helper of a message from the divine. It says here, can be a great ally in presenting alternatives to the straight and narrow path to people and institutions who seek you through peer pressure and yeah. So I feel like it's like you guys have this attitude to where you don't care. You have this I don't give a care attitude. Like, I don't care what nobody think about me. Maybe you did in the past, and so now you embrace this energy. But you have this energy, like, I don't care what nobody thinks about me. I'm going to do me, you know, regardless of how people feel. I'm going to, like, talk how I talk. I'm going to joke how I joke. And some of you have, what I wanted to say earlier, but I kind of lost my train of thought, is you also have, like, a dark sense of humor. Like, it gets really dark with you. So some people may think that some of the stuff you say may be, it's a little dark, a little bit, some of your jokes, but you know, that's just who you are, you know. And that kind of also makes you a rebel, because people are, why would you say that? Or like you are, maybe you also just someone who's very blunt as well, and so it makes other people uncomfortable sometimes, or just like that's not the norm in your culture, in your religion, or just like it's not normal in your family, or just how you grew up to be like that blunt, or just to say whatever you want to say. I feel like some of you cuss like sailors in this group as well. You talk how you want to talk. Is what I'm getting. I don't know, it's something, it's like, I'm gonna do me attitude, is what I'm getting. If you're not resonating with that, maybe this is not the group for you. Yeah, you have this Illusionary energy. Political protester. Some of you may be protesters as well. It says here, whether political, inclined, or artistic innovator, the rebel is a key component of all human growth and development. Yeah. And it says, helps you see past tired preconceptions in your professional or creative work, or to reject spiritual systems that don't serve your inner needs. And yeah, you do have this type of energy as well. Like some of you, maybe you have the energy of protesting against stuff. Maybe you have been in certain protests and stuff and speak out about different stuff. Because some of you maybe protest different stuff, you know what I mean? It depends on, whatever it is you're protesting against. Because it's a general reading. Or, you speak out against things like that. And you speak your mind. You know what I mean? You speak your mind. You speak up. Okay, I don't agree with this, so I'm going to say this. And again, this may make some people uncomfortable. Like, she going against the grain or he going against the grain. Why would they say that you're not supposed to be talking like that, or you're not supposed to be doing that? That's inappropriate for, this particular environment. But it's like, that's the type of person you is, right? Then you have Virgin at the bottom of the deck, and I'm going to include that in the group because I did include the bottom card for the last group. It says, see also Solomon, associated with purity applied primarily to young women. This can apply to men as well, but it says here in the book primarily to young women. It needs to be explored symbolically as a pattern that represents not only purity, but also the beginning point of creation and bringing forth virgin ideas. I feel like you guys are innovators, right? Like new ideas. You're somebody who you're different. You bring out new ideas, and it's just being like you're an innovator. You're a creator. Like you've created, or you have the ability to be an innovator, or you've created something. You have invented something. I don't know. It can be anybody that can be watching these videos, but you do have that energy. If not, like some of you have innovative energy, so you need to work with that. That's a message coming through here. But you also have like this pure soul, this pure spirit as well. You just have this purity about you. Your heart is pure, your spirit is pure. And that's what all this is. It's like you have the pure intention. Some people think that you are negative, or it seems like you're coming off as negative. But that's just you. I'm hearing this. It's the way that some of you guys talk or communicate. It's just some people may feel like your delivery is harsh, but your message is still coming from a pure place. Is coming from a pure spirit, a pure heart. But people don't like the way that you say stuff. But you like, I'm not about to change the way that I talk. You have also been accused of being a liar or being a trickster as well in the past. Which is, I don't know why I don't want to say which is interesting. But what they don't understand here is that you also this as well. You have a pure spirit. It comes from a place of love, right? I'm hearing you somebody who talk like tough love. That's what I'm hearing. Like you love to use tough love to help in a way. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's something like that coming through, right? Yeah, we have the Queen of Wands. She's a firecracker, so this makes sense. Some of you can be a fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, you don't have to be, but she's a firecracker. You know the Queen of Wands is. But she also has like a pure intention. Sometimes her delivery can be fiery, It can come off a certain way. But that's just who you are. We have the Nine of Wands. And some people, may become very defensive. Like you just have this strength about you as well. You have this strong dominant presence as well. Like this is intimidating to people. Yeah, some people, like some of y'all have even been called an asshole. People have, and we also have the Three of Cups. But people who get you, like your soul tribe member, like people who get you, like the people you cool with, they understand you and stuff like that. That's how you know who your people are. And then you have the Lovers coming through here. Okay. And then you have the Queen of Cups. See, they don't get it. Like, this all comes from a place of love, right? The Queen of Cups. she has a pure intentions. This comes from a place of love. And the Queen of Wands has a pure intentions as well. Some people just don't like the way that sometimes, and the Queen of Swords is even worse with her delivery sometimes, because she can be the cutthroat sometimes, the Queen of Swords. If she was out here, this would have made even more sense. But it's just like you're just a firecracker, right? Or some people may think that sometimes the way you talk as well, you get defensive, but you're not getting defensive. You have a lot of passion as well. You're just a passionate person. And then you have the Lovers coming through here. And I feel like with the Lovers coming through here, like, again, it's like the Lovers is like the choice. So your choice of words, sometimes, you know, it hurts people's feelings, but the truth hurts. I feel like you go by that saying the truth hurts, and tough love is what's coming through here. That's how you talk, right? But again, it comes from a pure place. Or like, just like if you crack a joke, you know, and it may seem like it's dark, but, you know, you're just trying to make people laugh. You don't have like negative intentions with that joke, or, you know, stuff like that. So that's the energy you're giving off. So if you resonate with that, then you know this for sure you're reading. But that's the type of person you are. And let's see if this is like your future spouse's usual type or not. So we're going to see here in a minute. Let me get this a shuffle. We have the Queen. Okay. And then we have the Gambler. Then we have the Hero / Heroine. Wait, hold on. I mean, I feel like, you know what? We had the Queen, then you had the Queen. Because this Queen is in power. And like, the Queen could be a firecracker as well. Because you had the Queen of Wands, remember? But like the Queen in this deck is also the Empress. Okay, so it says represents the power of authority in women who symbolically rule over anything from a corporation to a home. I feel like it's the same energy. It's given that associated with positive arrogance and need to protect one's personal and emotional power, which I feel like that's another thing that the Rebel mixed up with the Trickster does. So I feel like, you know, and then you have the Gambler, which could be connected to the Rebel, because I feel like a Rebel, you know, is an innovator, right? Well, I feel like it is like they have like this innovator energy. And so they go against the grain, which the Gambler does, that willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you, right? So others doubt Rebels too. A risk taker who plays at odds, including certain addicts, entrepreneurs, day traders, and those who take risks in politics or other social arenas. So protesting and doing things going against the grain, like speaking up and speaking out against stuff, or just delivering stuff in a way other people don't like it, that would be like taking a risk. Or like speaking up, that is taking a risk. Like you can lose, you know, some people speak out against stuff and they lose their job, or they lose just their livelihood. They may lose like friends or whatever, just speaking out against certain stuff. Attempts to outrun the speed in which ordinary change happens. Positive aspects manifesting into following intuition even in the face of universal doubt. And a lot of people doubt the Rebel, right? The Seven of Cups. Let's see. I'm gonna give this another shuffle. The Queen of Pentacles came out for the last group. The Hermit. The Knight of Pentacles. I'm hearing you're just right for me. The Fool. So I feel like you are more a person who, I feel like you are the usual type because they need somebody like this. So they can be opposite to you. They can be somebody who's more like, you're going to be like the voice, and they're more of like the one who tones things down. So let's say you get angry, you're someone who speaks up. There's someone who, they speak up, but they do it in a more, it's not like you in a way. I'm not trying to insult you. It's not like it's bad. Neither one of these ways of speaking out or like communication is bad unless it turns in bad in a way. But if you understand what I'm saying, it's like they more of a, like, you see the Knight of Pentacles, he's not like loud, he's like quiet, and you have the Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles. She's more settled than like the Queen of Wands would be, and then you will say, well, that means that I'm not their usual type because it's coming out to what their usual type would be. No, you are their usual type. This is giving me more so you are the usual type because they want somebody that's loud and who's opposite of them. When they more of like a settled energy, they more of like a energy to where, like, okay, so let's say y'all go somewhere and y'all going somewhere out to eat or something like that. Y'all at a restaurant. If they the type of person who's not gonna say nothing if they order is wrong, because I don't know, it could have something to do with like maybe they don't like confrontation, or maybe they don't like to be the center of attention, or maybe they have like anxiety to where like stuff like that scares them to confront people with certain stuff. Well, you can be like, no, like if it's wrong, then I'm about to call a waiter and be like, you know what, y'all got his or her like order wrong. Like, can y'all fix this? You that type of person, like, speak up and like, but they not gonna say nothing. They'll just like let it be. Like if you go through a drive-through or something like that and they missing like some fries or whatever, they not gonna say nothing. Like they be like, okay, well, I done pulled off now, I ain't gonna worry about it. Like, I don't want to make a big deal out of it. But you like, no, you need to drive back and let them know, like, I ain't got my fries not in my bag, or you gave me the wrong type of burger or whatever the case may be. Stuff like that, right? They the type of person, they won't go and take something back to the store. Like if you know how, like, if something don't fit you or you just don't like something, so you return it. They the type of person who won't go return. So I don't know if this person have like, because I know that falls under like having type of anxiety with that type of stuff. But it could be that this can be. I'm not trying to diagnose this person with anxiety or anything like that, but maybe it could be something like that, or just like they don't like. It seems like it's gonna make a big deal or something like that, or it just like it scares them. But they won't return stuff. Even if, they got the receipt, they able to return it, they're not going to return it. I don't know why this person like it, but you the type of person, I'm going to take this shit back. You going to return so much stuff back to the stores. Well, they got people who don't return stuff because it's like, they feel like it's like some sort of, it's going to cause a conflict, which is not. But, I don't know, it could be something to do with like anxiety or social anxiety or something like that. It seems like you are that type because they need somebody opposite of them. Now, don't get me wrong. If this a man, some of y'all might think like, that man, he sounds like he weak or whatever. That doesn't make this person weak. That's just, they just not a loud person in a way. Like, this just their energy. Like, if this person have this leader energy or this charge energy, they can still have that energy and still have these issues. But then again, you have the hero / heroine at the bottom of the deck, passion and journey for personal empowerment. I feel like that's a connection as well. So let me get into this before I exit out of your reading, because I forgot to read that at the bottom. Yeah, see also Knight and Warrior confronts increasingly difficult obstacles, awaken an inner spiritual power, and achieve an heroic vision that ultimately serves the tribe. So that kind of goes with everything. To me, it goes with everything. Some of y'all may not think so. Yeah, confront. See how confronts increasingly difficult obstacles or maybe difficult tasks. That's what a rebel does. That's what that's what the gambler does, right? That's what the queen does. Conquer survival fears that might compromise the journey of empowerment. So yeah, it goes with pretty much everything I was saying, right? It goes with that. If the gambler can be a hero, the queen can be a hero. It's like if let's say if you go to rule a kingdom, I'm just speaking, like you will be the type of queen who different from other queens in line. You will literally make changes. You will literally take risk, and then you will go down in history as a hero because you took risk, or because you this queen to where it's like, wow, you the queen of this kingdom. Why would you speak like that? That's not how a queen behaves. That's not how a queen speaks. Well, you're gonna be like, that's how I behave. That's how I speak. And I feel like that's their usual type. They usually go for people like this. Now, in the past, it could have been like this. Those people use that type of power over your future spouse to where, you know, it's like they control them. But I feel like with you, it's kind of balanced. And so you two will kind of bounce off of each other. You need that. They're going to tone you down a bit for some of y'all, you know, because this can be negative sometimes. And then you're going to help them in a way to where, you know, because that can turn negative sometimes, right? Sometimes they may be just like a serious person. They just may be more serious when you're like more of the loud jokester and the more person who like speaks very loud, who's, you know, and things like that, when they the opposite. And so both of those things can have and they quiet and they more settled and they more like the serious, stern type. Both of those things can have issues. And so you two will bounce off each other to where, you know, it will work together in a way to where it didn't work in the past with them, because I feel like it was more, like I said, with these energies, it can be like the person probably had like too much power over them. And so, you know, with this time, it's like, it's going to come out in balance. You two are going to come out. You two are just going to work. It could be because there is a divine union between y'all two, and so that's why it's going to work. Or it could just be like they had to go through the negative parts of someone who's like more out there like you, and that was some type of karmic things they had to deal with first. So when you come in, they able to actually work with you, and it'll actually work, because it's like I've had this energy before, but it's something about you that is a little bit different. And it's not like the energy where you're different from the other people. That's not what I mean in that way. Are you different from the other girls or women, whatever the case may be? Not in that way, but it's like it's just gonna work to where I feel like, because, and also this ties into your spirituality. You have that rebel energy. I feel like the rebel is what tones down also the leadership thing too, to where it's not about power. It's not about like being in control, because you had rebel come out. So it makes sense to where you're not gonna try to like control them or like take advantage. So that's all I have for everyone. Select a group 2. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to thumbs this video up if you did like the reading. That would be very much appreciated. If you like private reading from me, my email is in the description, and you can send me a message, and I can see, you know, I can see what I can do for you. Hook you up, okay? And again, you know, don't forget to thumbs it up if you would like to pick a different group, because this one didn't resonate. You're welcome to do that. And until next time, y'all, bye-bye. Have a good one, okay? So welcome to everyone who selected group 3. You guys picked Shine Bright. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. Let's see, are your future spouse's usual type? But first, we're going to see who you are, and then, you know, like what type of person you are. And then we're going to see if you are your future spouse's usual type after that, okay? And then this will definitely confirm if this you're reading, right? Okay. Yeah, the student night. Interesting, because you got Virgin at the bottom of the last group. Did I shuffle these? I shuffled these cards good. The last group had Virgin at the bottom. Well, not... Was it the last group? Yeah. for their first part. But it's no connection here. Just interesting, okay? So you have student and you have knight. Light attributes humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning, okay? That's a student energy, the student of life. And then you have the knight, light attributes, loyalty, romance, chivalry, and love of honor. Okay, so you seem to be someone who's open-minded. You know, you also see, I know the mediator card is not here, but you seem to be somebody who's a mediator. You do have mediator energy, to where, you know, you're able to see both sides of a situation. You're able to put yourself in other people's shoes. You try not to be just listen to just one side. You the type of person who know they got two sides. They got three sides to, you know, everybody. You know the saying, they side, the other person's side, and the truth. You know, and so you kind of go by that saying. So even if a person is your best friend, or even if somebody is your sister or your brother, you're not going to just take what they said about another person and be like, well, you know, I also get like you can call people out as well. You know, you can call them out. Okay, well, you able to call them out. Well, they'll be telling you about the issue, and then you'll be like, whoa, wait. So you said this and did this. So you don't think that that's wrong what you said or what you did? Like that's wrong too. You know, they wrong too, but you also have an issue too, right? You get what I'm saying? So kind of is that would be considered like being a mediator, like being, you know, somebody who can just understand like both sides or try to find some type of, I'm hearing like common ground or something like that. That's what I'm hearing. Maybe that doesn't make sense to some of y'all, but that's what's coming through here, okay? But yeah, you're somebody who, you know, again, you're open-minded in general. You love to learn new things. You love to explore and learn different, you know, things about the world, maybe about, you know, in different subjects. You want to understand different beliefs, people's different beliefs. You feel like people can believe in whatever they want to believe, and, you know, you're not here to change people's mind. You're here to just deliver the truth. That's something I'm hearing, like you're here to deliver the truth. It says here with the student, discipline, devotee, apprentice. Suggests not an absence of mastery, but rather a continual pursuit of intellectual development. Yeah. It says, has found a source of teaching such as a guru or spiritual master who becomes an instructor or spiritual guide. So you're the student of life. And I feel like you love learning different things and just trying new things as well until you master it, then you on to the next thing. So you love to like just nibble and dabble in different things just to see how it feels and see if you can master that thing. And I feel like you continue it until it gets done, until you do master it, until you get better at it. You know, no matter what it is, and, you know, just different things, and it's going to be different for everybody because this is a general reading. Okay, and then you have the knight. All right, so you're somebody who's very loyal. You love romance. You're a romantic person. You have chivalry energy. I feel like you're a person who want to cater to your lover, to cater to your partner. You have a lot of honor. You see, the student is a devotee, right? So you're devoted to, you know, the people that you're with romantically, specifically, but you're devoted in general to people, but you're devoted specifically to people that you're with romantically as well, with that knight energy coming through there. Okay, so let's take a look at the knight. It says, see, also warrior rescuer. Associated with chivalry, courtly romance, loyalty, self-sacrifice, protecting the princess, and going to battle only for honorable causes. So, yeah, you're somebody who, you know, you're very, you know, protective over, you know, the people that you love, especially your romantic partner you'll be with. And you will make sacrifices for the people you love in general. It says, has spiritual overtones of service and devotion. Yeah, so you are somebody who's very devoted. The student is a devotee. The knight is And see, humility and devotion tonight is about devotion, right? Service and devotion, right? And you become devoted to, these subjects and just like the people you love or the person that you're with. You stay committed and devoted to things. It's very interesting here. But then you have the virgin at the bottom of the deck. And of course, maintain a symbolic purity of heart and spirit. Yeah. So you're a very pure person. You have a pure spirit and a heart. Now, I am getting a different message with not it just not being spiritual, about just being like having a pure spirit and heart. I also feel like the virgin is coming through as I'm getting into the message. You can be the type of person who, not saying that if you not like this, that something is wrong with you or that it's an issue. Like if you sleep with people who you're not in love with, then that's fine too. If you just like to sleep with people because you like it, then that's interesting. But I mean, you seem to be you're the type of person who, which I understand, is people. Everybody should have this mindset. I'm not gonna tell people what to do, but what to believe or how to look at stuff. You like, my body is my temple. My body, I'm not gonna just let nobody into my body. I have got to be with a person. I have got to have an emotional connection. I have got to have, be in a relationship with them to have sex with them. You that type of person, you have that belief, right? That's what's coming through here. Some of you can be people who you believe in, like being you're celibate, or maybe for some of you actually are like a virgin or whatever the case may be. I know it's a debate on whether or not, virginity is something you can lose or not. I'm not here to debate people, but I'm just telling you what's coming through here, right? Some of you can be virgins. Some of you can have been celibate for a while, and your belief is, are you the type of person who, you have to be talking to a person a certain amount of time or dating a certain amount of time before you can become like sexually intimate, because intimacy is not just sex, but you have that mindset, right? So you're not the type of person who has casual sex or whatever. I'm not saying nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that some of y'all in this group, some people in this group, that's how it is for you, right? Let's see here. And that kind of goes back to the student and the night energy. It's like this innocence about you as well, right? Oh, hold on. I got a card slipped upside down. Yeah, the Knight of Cups. And I say this night can be any night that's in tarot, but I always feel like this night is the Knight of Cups to me. Then we have the Queen of Swords. Then we have the Ten of Swords. Then we have the Three of Swords upside down. And I'm going to take it upside down. I usually don't read reverses, but if it's coming out like that, I'm going to take it. And then we have the Temperance at the bottom of the deck here. Okay. Now, the Knight of Cups is very romantic, very fond of romance, and sometimes have these unrealistic ideas of romance. And I feel like you're that type of person, you know what I mean, who has those type of ideas, but it just confirms the Knight of being loyal romance. Now, some people say the Knight of Cups is not loyal, because the Knight of Cups can be a trickster, a player, if he's like, it depends on like the surrounding cards, or if, people who read reversals, it could turn up like this, or if he's upside down, right? But, because I know some people, that's how some people read the Knight of Cups sometimes. Like, they be like, oh, the Knight of Cups is the one. Or they be like, it's not the Knight of Wands that's the problem. It be the Knight of Cups that can be the trickster, right? But that's not why we here. That's not how I'm reading these cards. But, with the Knight of Cups is like fulfillment, inspiration, healing. The Knight of Cups is very romantic. It's all about romance, love, being in love, being deeply in a soul connection. And he got to be in a soul connection with somebody to feel a connection with him, right? Because it's like finding your soulmate with the Knight of Cups, making a love offer, right? The Cups is the heart, right? The Cups is about love. Right, you're full of love too, because you see these hearts here, the Knight of Cups. See, it's like the Three of Swords reverse. You're not a heartbreaker, right? Because I feel like some of you, with the Ten of Swords coming through, you've been stabbed in the back, right? You've been stabbed in the back. You've been hurt. You've actually been on the receiving end of being hurt. And so you don't ever want to make another person feel like that, right? Then you have the Queen of Swords coming through here with this intellect coming through here with a student, right? See how the student is like constantly learning, but the Queen of Swords, she masters. You become the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is about the intelligence and the intellect and learning. She can be a teacher, right? You develop into learning this thing, and then you become the teacher who's full of wisdom and things like that. You understand what I'm saying here? Now, some of you also, I feel like you've been hurt to where, some of you actually, had sexual experiences and stuff like that. And the reason why you like, I got to get to know a person for some of y'all before I give, myself to them sexually is because you've done that in the past. You've given yourself to somebody you trusted and they broke your heart, right? Like you found out they just wanted to sleep with you or, like something like that, to where it was something like that. Or like maybe you feel like you gave your virginity away to somebody and then they broke your heart afterwards, or they just wanted to score with you or do whatever it is with you, and that broke your heart. You're like, I never want to experience that again, so I have to get to know a person before that happens. Are you just trying to avoid that? You don't want that to happen to you, so you just try to avoid that type of thing, is what's coming through here. So I feel like, that's what's coming through some of your energy, okay? So let's see here. Let's see, are you your future spouse's usual type? Is this their usual type, or do they normally go for something different? Oh, but Temperance is here as well. Temperance is an energy to where it's like, Temperance is like a healing energy too, right? I feel like, again, you have that balance too. We saw the Queen of Swords and we saw the Knight of Cups. So you have that balance on the boundaries. You could be this loyal, devoted person, this romantic person, but also, you can do it to where, you can't be taken advantage of. These things won't be taken advantage of, okay? Harmony, purpose, moderation. I feel like you're in harmony with yourself as well. You want to be in harmony with your partner, whomever you with. That makes sense, y'all? I know I be always saying that, but sometimes, like, I be hearing myself talking, I be like, okay, does that make sense? Maybe you like that, too. Maybe that's why I'm saying that. Maybe you like that, too. Let's see what their usual type is, and if you are their usual type. I'm not going to take that one. Hold on now. Let me give it a good shuffle because I don't... We have the King coming through here. We have the Priest. We have the Shapeshifter coming through. Okay, so you have King coming through here. Light attributes, enlightenment, benevolent, leadership, benefiting those in your charge. And then you have Priest coming through here. Light attributes, facilitate spiritual commitments, serve the channel of spiritual energy. So I feel as though, let me pull a few of these cards, because this one I'm not getting like a straight answer, because again with the shit, this is coming through as more intuitive. Swords. I've been seeing the Queen of Pentacles in all these groups. The Hangman. But okay, so I'm hearing here. Okay. Because again, you had the student. You had the student and you had the knight. Now, you see, the knight is like below a king, right? The knight is below a king, right? I feel like they don't usually go for somebody like you. And some of you will probably be like, oh, well, I think with this, I'm just telling you what I'm getting intuitively, because we also have shapeshifter at the bottom of the deck. Now, I'm reading these strictly intuitive, because when he was coming out, the energy shift. Like, spirit is like shift, the energy is shifting. Like, it's like a different energy. So I'm not reading these cards how they would usually, with their usual meaning would be. That's why I said I read intuitively. So I feel like they go for more of the types that are, how could I say this without like it being offensive to people? Because I know how people be feeling like about the word easy. Like, I feel like they more like you're not the type of person who just, again, you don't give it up to everybody. You don't do this and that, right? So, and they used to people like putting themselves, the type, at least I don't know if I can say like the usual type, at least the people they drew in the past, the type of people they have dated usually put themselves before them, mostly like the people they've been with, and the people, and like the people that they've been with all gave it up to them easily, like gave their body up to them easily. So they used to like easily getting, and not saying like that's all they wanted from the people. It's just that it was easy. Or like, most of their past relationships might have started out as just like they like slept with this person one time, and then they started to develop a relationship with them after sleeping together. And so that sometimes for people that turns into an issue. Like if you slept with them and then y'all try to develop a relationship after that, that can be an issue later on down the line, but not for everybody. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but that's what's coming through here. To where with you, it's like the circumstances y'all gonna meet is gonna be completely different. For a lot of for this group, a lot of the people they met them at clubs, and so they took them back home and they had sex, and then they developed a relationship after that. Also, your future spouse, I'm not trying to like slander them either. Like they might be, again, I'm not saying nothing wrong with like having casual sex or just like, having sex for fun or whatever the case. They may be the type of person who did stuff like that. You know what I mean? Or in the past or something. And so you the complete opposite of this energy. Like they used to people who, because the priest is in charge, and then the king is in charge. They used to people who want to be in power, right? Because it says excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership, or restraint violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. Like they used to people, are men or women who are very seductive, or who are players, or who have this energy to where, to where it's like a lot about passion in the beginning. You know how fast passion can burn out if it's just that. Not with everybody, but I feel like, and then with the hangman, this could be an energy where it's different, right? So they might have thought that was healthy at first with the Queen of Pentacles coming through here. If you guys hear that alarm, I apologize about that. Okay, there it is. All right. Yeah. Because again, we have shapeshifter coming through here. A lot of these people who they've been with are, even for them, like they did stuff for like personal gain. Like a lot of their old relationships started out for personal gain, or just for it wasn't like out of like a thing where, I'm sorry, this group is it's a little hard to read this group. It was out of confusion. Like, not out of confusion. What word am I looking for? Or like just jumping into something, not really like having no intentions of like having something more. You know how if somebody get with somebody, they thinking like, this could be the one I can be with. That thought never even crossed their mind when they was with some of these past people. It was all about just about the fun in the beginning, but then when the fun was over, like, and they try to build like a stable relationship with them, then you got the Two of Swords, like, what am I doing, right? You got the Hangman, like, what is this? I feel like I need to pull a few more cards for this group. Let me see. You know, the Eight of Cups, the Ten of Wands, the Two of Cups, and it's like you wanted to come out sideways. Yeah. Okay. And then we have the Lovers coming through here. See, that connection was not there. The World at the bottom of the deck. I don't know why I'm hearing, but I'm hearing this person is for everybody. I don't know. I don't know why I'm hearing that. Like, they tried to build a connection with some of these people, but the connection wasn't there. Like, they tried to have a relationship with them afterwards. Because that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing like they had relationship with these people, like, but it didn't work out because the way that it started off. Or just like, you know, sometimes it depends. Like, if you expecting to meet, sometimes it depends. Like, don't go to no club nowhere. I'm not saying all the time, y'all. I'm not saying all the time. But if you go to a place and go to a certain place, and this place is known for being chaotic sometimes, or known for having certain types of people there, don't think you finna bring home husband material or wife material or boyfriend or girlfriend material. And I'm putting that in quotations for people like, well, what do you mean by that? I know people like to be politically correct about some stuff or have an issue with people say certain stuff, but, you know, it's not coming from a negative place when I say it. Like, if you go to a certain place and you know, again, these places known for having, like, chaotic people there, or, like, known for having, like, people under the influence, or just, you know, it depends on where the place at. I'm not just saying it's clubs or bars, but, I mean, what you expect to find there, you're going to find exactly what's there. Now, you could still find somebody who's not a good person in a place that's considered, like, you know, a good place to be, or, like, you know, because some people, they have a lot of people who met people at clubs. You know, I'm gonna be honest, my mom and my dad met at a club, okay? But I'm just saying, right? And they was just fine, but I'm just saying, I'm just speaking in like, in general, if you understand what I'm saying. So, I don't know, that I'm just sorry. That's the message that's coming through here. So, no, you normally is somebody they wouldn't usually go for, but, you know, this is an energy that, you know, I feel like that's why y'all gonna work, because this is not normal. This is not, you're not the usual type, right? And I also feel like physically you're not the usual type either. Like, they more, you know, maybe people, again, who more seductive, or who more just, I don't want to use, because I don't be wanting to offend people, but maybe you're just not the type of person. You don't have a lot of sex appeal or something like that. I'm not saying you ain't sexy or you're not fine, but, and this can be for either a man or a woman, but, and I'm not trying to shame people who have, like, sex appeal, thinking that those people are, like, fast, or, like, people who, ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that's what's coming through here. Like, physically, you're not their usual type either, but of course, you know, you end up being their wife or their husband, so obviously they're going to love everything about you. So, let me see here. Let me pull a couple more. Yeah, the Hermit. Yeah, I do feel like you are the complete opposite, for sure. Page of Pentacles. And the Fool. I say this giving you, like, you're more of, like, the person who's, like, you have, like, this innocent type of energy. Like, you know, you don't do all that. You know, ain't nothing wrong with doing all that. Ain't nothing wrong with doing what you do. I'm just saying, like, that's what's coming through here. Four Swords at the bottom of the deck. You give that type of energy, right? But I hope you guys understand what came through for y'all. I had to pull a few more cards for this group. Obviously, you're going to shine bright. That was represented by your group. and they're gonna love you. So yeah, that's all I have for everyone who selected group 3. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to thumbs this video up if you did like the reading. So thumbs it up, y'all. Don't forget, okay? If you have a YouTube account, YouTube page, of course, you know, if this group didn't resonate, you ain't like it and sit right with you, you can pick a different group. That's fine. And until next time, beautiful people, bye-bye. Have a good one.